What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode. Coach Joe here with Heartletics.com. Today's episode, we're going to be talking all about whether you should, try your hardest to work out when you're feeling kind of sick and run down, or is it better to focus on recovery? Now, this is going to be very specific for the individual itself. But how I'm going to create this podcast is just to give you guys some value, give you guys some personal experience, and most importantly, what I think you should do. Okay, so for starters, always listen to your body. Don't listen to like hey, if you're a client, right, that's listening to this right now, you're a Heartletics member, okay? Guess what? If let's say you're sick, maybe you got the flu, throwing up. If let's say like you just got injured, right, like. And I don't mean like an injury like, oh, I hurt something on my forearm or my thumb, right? But you can still go to the gym and still do legs or walk, whatever. I don't mean something like that, but I mean like, hey, like whatever, so a pretty big injury. Guess what? If we have workouts already scheduled out for you, don't do them. Plain and simple, don't do them. In fact, you guys know to go to calendar tab and you can rearrange your workouts, right? So you have to, you have a workout scheduled on, let's say, Wednesday, and you want to, move that to, let's say, the next day, Thursday or Friday or even Saturday, whatever the case may be. Move it to next week or just delete off in general. You have full rights to do so. Why? Because even though you're inside of our coaching program, we want to still give you permission to listen to your body. So what does that mean? Well, if you're feeling sick, and I don't mean sick like, oh, I got like, head cold or, I got the sniffles. I mean, like, guess what? Like, your body better than anybody else. Like, if you can go to work and you're just kind of feeling like, oh, man, I'm coming down with something, but it's not there yet, odds are you could probably get a workout in. Odds are you can probably, boost up your immunity, right, your immune system by eating healthy and getting a workout. Now, with that being said, there's plenty of times where myself, I'm like sicker than a dog, and my wife always makes fun of me. She's like, you're like what's called a man, what'd she say? Like, men's sickness is like all in the head. It's not physical at all. And she's probably true, because when I feel like I'm sick, I feel like it's the end of the world. Like I'm dying, right? But there's plenty of times where, let's say I get the flu or a really bad fever or something, right? Where I'm throwing up. I'm going to the bathroom a lot. Like, it's just, I'm not feeling good. Well, guess what? It's not going to be beneficial to go get a workout in if you're feeling like that. Now, if let's say I got a little sniffles, right? Like right now I do. I live in Cleveland, Ohio. It's October right now, and I'm not a fan, right, of Cleveland at all, right? I'm going to say it like that. I'm sick of it. I've been living here 30 years, and I'm already sick of it already. And I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, I can move to a different state. I got to convince my family to do so. But anyways, regardless of that, the reason why I don't like it is because my allergies can't keep up. My body can't keep up and if you're anywhere near Ohio, you get all 4 seasons in 1 week, if not 2 days. It's ridiculous. Sunday we had company over. It was a great day. We're all outside shooting hoops. It was awesome. The next day, Monday, a few days ago, there's snow. I'm over it, right? When it's very cold outside, my back hurts, my elbows hurt, my shoulders hurt, my knees hurt from all my injuries from doing mixed martial arts. I'm over it. I'm trying to leave, But with that being said, I still go to the gym. I still go work out. I'm not going to say like, oh, I got the sniffles or my allergies are kind of bugging me right now or I got a head cold or, my elbow's hurting me a little bit. So I'm going to, use that as an excuse to not work out and not go to the gym. Because guess what? I know my body better than anyone else. But most importantly, I know my mindset better than anybody else. And this is key. This is very, very key because I'm about to give you 2 different pieces of advice. And I don't want you to confuse them because it's going to sound very confusing. Okay? So the first thing is I know my mindset better than my body. So that means like, hey, I know I can push myself. But I also know for a fact that if I'm sick, okay, and I miss a workout in, I'm not going to the gym, I'm not working, I'm just sleeping all day, I'm sick, I'm trying to recover, I know for a fact like I'm probably going to have the worst eating habits. I'm probably going to, order a bunch of fast food, comfort food, Panera Bread, whatever the case may be. All right, I'm going to go over my calories. I'll be under on my protein. It's probably going to happen because it always does, right? Like chicken, what's it called? Cheddar, broccoli, soup, whatever from Panera Bread. Man, you give me that Chipotle avocado sandwich, that thing's amazing, right? Probably not the best thing for me, but guess what? It makes me feel a lot better. It's like my comfort food. And so I'm saying that because I know for a fact that if I start having these conversations with myself and say, well, am I really sick or am I not? Because if I'm not really sick and it's just like, oh, I don't feel like showing up today, well, guess what? I'm probably going to be horrible on my nutrition because I already gave myself the excuse to miss that workout in the morning. And remember, how you do one thing is how you do everything. That's why I keep my inner circle so close, so tight, but also very small. If there's a weak link in my pack, right? And let's say they're making up excuses constantly. I'm sorry, but that's got to go. I don't want that negativity around me. I don't want that because that's like everybody else in this world. The people I want in my inner circle are like, hey, they're goal oriented, they're motivated, and guess what? Like no ifs, ands, or buts, they're showing up. Why? Because that's what successful people do, whether they feel like it or not. Yesterday's episode, we went over the plain and simple, all about discipline and the 3 big key tips on how to improve on self-discipline. If you have not listened to that, I highly recommend that you do so. But in that episode, I also talk about, the difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation is the desire to do something. Like, oh, I want to lose some weight. Okay, cool. I feel motivated. Let's start, going for some runs or, eat healthier. But discipline is like, hey, it's like cold outside. I don't feel like showing up and I'm not seeing any progress on the scale. So, I'm still going to show up and do what I'm going to do, regardless of if I'm seeing results or not, regardless of the weather, regardless if I feel like it or not, right? It's you being diligent. It's you having integrity with your goals. What's integrity? Well, my definition is doing the right things, whether someone's looking or not. Plain and simple. What are you doing behind someone's back? And most of the time, people have lack of integrity within their own goals, meaning they constantly make up excuses. And remember, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So I know myself, I know my body, I know my mind most importantly. So I know I'm not going to skip a workout because that's going to lead into bad eating habits. And then I don't want that because I'm off track. And I don't eat healthy and work out to look a certain way. Okay. I'm 10% body fat all year round. I can eat whatever I want. And I think I just trained my metabolism enough to stay around 10%. This is the norm for me, right? It's very easy for me to stay this way. And I'm pleased with that. But I don't go to the gym. I don't eat healthy to do that. I go to the gym. I eat healthy, right? Not to look a certain way, but to feel a certain way. Like, I feel bad for you guys that are constantly coming home from work. You need to sit around on the couch, watch some TV, and you don't even have time to play with your kids. Like, listen, when my son gets home from daycare, my coaches know, my clients know, like, hey, I got my phone off. You guys can message me if you want, but I'm not going to reply back until later when he's asleep because he's 3 years old. He needs my attention. I didn't see him all day. Hey, I'm going to have 3-4 hours before he goes to sleep to wrestle, play video games, go for some walks, do our little, acorn wars, whatever that we do at playground, play tag, like all these things, right? Because at the end of the day, that's all that truly matters to me is creating these memories. Because at the end of the day, that's all we have at the end of our life anyways, is our memories and experiences. So I want to make sure that I'm doing the right things today, creating the better habits, but also my son can see that. Because, hey, if I'm just going to constantly make up excuses like I don't feel like showing up today, I don't feel like getting a workout in, I'm feeling kind of sick, I feel like I have a little bit of an injury, well, guess what? How you do one thing is how you do everything. I also want to make sure that I'm leading by example in every form of my life, okay? Now, with that being said, let me hit you guys with some facts, okay? Because now this is going to sound very controversial, and this is why I want to make sure you, and I said in the beginning, you have to listen to your body. I'm only a coach that's going to tell you what you need to hear, but at the end of the day, you have to listen to your body. No one's going to hold a gun to your head and force you to do anything. So with that being said, what to do if, let's say, you get very, very sick. flu, fever, whatever, right? A big time injury. What should you do? Well, I'm going to go complete opposite with what I just said. Right? And this is where it's going to sound a little controversial. So remember, I said, hey, if I'm feeling like a little sickness, but not too much, if I'm feeling a little injury, but not really, something too severe, well, guess what? Like, pull up the big boy panties, show up to the gym. You're going to feel a lot better afterwards. Odds are, right? You're going to try to sweat it out, right? You're going to feel so much better. Like, just showing up here and doing the right things, like, that's going to help you out tremendously, because you're going to have that mindset of, man, I did it. I'm so happy. Positive endorphins, right? High fiving yourself. You just accomplished something that, especially on those days where you don't feel like doing it. And honestly, the days where I don't feel like doing it, I always get like one of the best workouts in. It's so bizarre, but it helps me because it's, hey, life's throwing me those curveballs, those tests, that adversity of being a little bit sick, being a little bit injured. But guess what? I'm still going to hit a home run with my fat loss journey. I'm still going to hit a home run with these goals. Why? Because I show up. And life rewards me for that, for being a doer, not a talker, an action taker. Now, if let's say I'm completely sick, fever, throwing up, diarrhea, right? Broken arm, whatever the case may be, guess what? It's a lot better to focus on the recovery. And it's actually pretty important that you do so. Why? Because at the end of the day, if let's say I got a fever and I'm trying my best to work out, and let's say like this is just dragging on now. It's not a few days, it's now a few weeks, and I continue to show up and try to get a workout. Well, one, my workouts are going to suck because I'm not in the right state of mind, nor energy levels, or even feeling good. So my workouts are going to be like 50%. But also, what could have been just a few days of being sick turned into like a week or maybe even 2. And that's even more delayed time. So even though I'm showing up, going to the gym, working out, what's the point? Because I'm not even 100% anyways. But also it's just delaying that time. So me going 50% and delaying this time sickness, right, to let's say 2 weeks, it's a lot better to, let's say, take 2 days off completely, 100%. And I'm just using that for the sake of this, which means like, hey, listen to your body. If you need 3 days, 4 days, a week, 2 weeks, whatever, listen to your body. Just using it for the sake of an analogy. It's a lot better for me to take 2 full days off and then I'm 100%. Because guess what? Now I can get back to the gym, better workouts, and I'm not delaying the process of me being 100% recovered. Now, what do I do when I'm sick? Okay? Well, I don't usually have the biggest appetite. Like when I'm sick, I literally, it's so hard for me to eat anything, consume anything. But then randomly, right, when I start to get like a little bit of like some taste buds going, and then let's say I start to get hungrier again, I don't go to grab the healthiest option. I don't, right? Like I wish I had more self-discipline as a coach. I don't. I go for my cheddar broccoli soup at Panera. I go for my Chipotle chicken sandwich, right? I go for some donuts. I want comfort food, plain and simple. Is it bad for me to eat that? Absolutely not. And if you're a client of ours, you already know, like, hey, you can eat all this stuff every single day and still get shredded and still get abs. Like, that's the inevitable because we taught you, or we're in the process of teaching you how nutrition actually works. But hear me out. Hey, I'm sick, okay? I don't feel good. I want to eat something. Not for the sake of me eating something like donuts to have a positive effect on my body and say like, oh, it's going to help me burn body fat, yada, yada. At the end of the day, if I'm sick and I'm throwing up, I'm already in this huge calorie deficit anyways, so I can eat back my calories. I'm probably not going to hit my protein goal, but that doesn't really matter at all. Regardless, why do I go for my Panera bread? Why do I go for, my Biagio donuts and whatever else that I want? Because guess what? It tastes good. And if I eat something and I don't feel good and it tastes good, I'm going to enjoy that. And I really hope you guys start to pick up what I'm putting down right now. When I'm starting to enjoy that, guess what? Positive endorphins, start feeling a little bit better. Why do you think it's called comfort food? It's okay to have it. In fact, you can have it every single day in moderation if you learned about, calories, metabolism, the thermic effect of food, macronutrients, all the things that we teach our clients inside of our coaching program at Heartletics. It's very easy and sustainable, but like, hear me out. When I'm sick, I'm diving in head first to that because that's going to make me feel better mentally. Okay? It tastes good. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to rest anyways until I'm 100% back to getting back to my workouts and getting back on track. So take it or leave it, guys. Today's episode, should you work out when you're sick? Should you work out when, you're injured? Quick recap, right? 1, listen to your body. Plain and simple. No one's going to force a gun to your head. You listen to your body. The second thing with that being said is don't be a little girl either. Like if you got the sniffles, right, or some allergies and you can still walk, well, guess what? Go do it because successful people do what they have to do whether they feel like it or not. I'm pretty sure if you're somebody that, let's say, has been struggling with your health and fitness journey for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and you have all these bad habits, and let's say you sign up for a gym membership, right? And then guess what? The next week, whatever, you get sick. Let's say you get a fever and everything like that. Well, guess what? I bet you anything it's going to be, well, I'm not going to use that analogy because if you got a fever, you should probably take some time off. But let's say it's just like a little bit of cold, right? A little bit of sniffles. That's it. Nothing too serious. You might use that as an excuse to not show up to the gym because you haven't built up the willpower, the discipline, and the mental habits to do what you have to do whether you feel like it or not. That's the reality. So you've been struggling 5, 10, 15, 20 years of feeding the bad wolf and not the good wolf of creating better habits for your health. So if you get a little minor, injury or minor sickness that you could probably still kind of like work through, you probably won't. You're going to use that as an excuse. And then what happens? Well, hey, it's a lot easier to not go to the gym. It feels a lot better to sleep in, And then it gets harder and harder. And then what? You have this Planet Fitness membership. You had it for 3 years. You went there maybe like once or twice when you got the New Year's resolution high, just like everybody else when the gyms are crowded. And then you fall back to your old ways. Like, I promise you this. If you want to see success, just go to heartletics.com. Free fat loss guide, free fat loss training video, free coaching call with me and my team. Like, you can't go wrong with the free stuff there at Heartletics. But regardless, you're going to learn. I think that's the biggest takeaway here. You're going to learn. You're going to have proper knowledge. So, long story short, number 2, don't be a little girl. If you're sick, take your time off, right? Plain and simple. That's understandable. But don't be a little girl either. Show up, right? Become a man up, plain and simple, whether you feel like it or not. Because at the end of the day, what's going to create better habits for you and for your family and for your kids? By you doing the things that you don't want to do until it becomes a habit. Nobody wants to brush their teeth, right, when they're 3 years old and 4 years old. But guess what? You're 50 years old, you're doing that all by yourself and no one's reminding you, no one's holding you accountable, right? It's a habit. You can make the same habits apply to your fat loss journey. In fact, the fat loss guide that you can simply either watch the video at heartletics.com or download the free guide, it goes over the 7 fat loss habits that we go over and teach our clients in our 12-week transformation program. Literally, just download that. You'll be successful, plain and simple. And then the last thing is like, okay, let's say, hey, Joe, this isn't the sniffles. This isn't allergies. Like, I'm on my deathbed here. What do I do? Hey, go find your comfort food, right? Go put on Stranger Things on Netflix and just kick it and relax all day. That's it. Focus on recovering 110% better. And if you truly do focus on that, I promise you, you're going to have the shorter duration time. If you're really focused on the recovery and skipping the gym, you're going to have that shorter recovery time, as opposed to if you're just going to continue to go through the motions and bull through it. And then next thing you know, right, it's 50% here, 40% here, 60% here, 30% here. And the next 2 weeks, like your gym workouts suck and you suffer a little bit and you're not even a fully 100%. Don't do that. Go get some donuts, go put on some Netflix, right? And just relax. Get some sleep, recovery, take some vitamins, have some orange juice. Don't worry about your calories. Don't worry about your macros. Recover. We want you 210% ready. At least that's my advice. So, guys, I really hope that you guys got some value. Today was a quicker video. I wanted to be kind of like short to the point and just provide some information for you guys that, in my opinion, I think will help you out tremendously, especially if you've been somebody that's been struggling. And let's just say, like, I mean, the cold winter months are coming here. Like I said, I live in Cleveland, Ohio. This isn't exactly fun. So we get all 4 seasons in a week. My allergies have been insane. And it's just one of those things that, hey, when you know how to apply all this and make it a little bit easier for your lifestyle, once again, it's going to be more sustainable. And that's our job with anybody, right? Is to teach sustainable habits to really help people level up in life, and not just physically on their health and fitness journey, but most importantly, mentally, and have that self-confidence, have that, tenacity to grab life by the horns and really accomplish your dreams in life. And then, like I said, if you guys want any more information about that, tons of free information for you as well. Just go ahead and visit heartletics.com. And as always, guys, this has been Coach Joe with the Heartletics Podcast. And if you guys got some value, please make sure to share this either on your social media page or with a friend or family member. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Peace out, girls.